Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to SwillinGrog's wonderful world of beer. Well, this is the premiere episode for 2014, and I'm reviewing Coors, 4.2% alcohol by volume, brewed and bottled by Molson Coors in Toronto, Canada. Now, some of you will be looking at this and going, hey, that looks like Coors Light. Well, that's because it is Coors Light, but in Australia, it's just simply known as Coors, because according to Australian standards, Coors Light is not a light beer. You see, in Australia, a light beer is very low in alcohol, like your Foster's Light Ice, for example, whereas Coors Light is simply just low in calories. So according to Australian standards, it's not a light beer, so it's going to be known as Coors here. That's the official word, at least. So it does make one wonder what this will be referred to as here when it does hit the market, that is. Will they call it Coors Banquet or Coors Original? I don't know. Time will only tell. Anyway, I digress. So back to the Coors, or Coors Light. Now, Coors Light was actually introduced in the States in 1978, and here in Australia it was introduced 35 years later, on the 17th of December 2013. So anyway, it is good to see that it's widely available here now, although I think at the moment the only place you're going to find it is First Choice Liquor, but yeah, there's lots of First Choice Liquor outlets over the country. So yeah. Anyway, I think it's high time that I stopped babbling about Coors and actually cracked it open and made an assessment of it. So as you can see, it comes in a lovely 12 ounce or 355 ml brown bottle, which is excellent to see, because you all know how much I hate clear and green bottles. And yeah, it's twist top as well. So it does actually have a like a label that well, actually it's called a cold activated bottle. When it's ready to drink, the mountains turn blue there. Well, according to the label, when the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. But I only just got it out of the fridge. But yeah, I mean, it's so goddamn hot in Australia that yeah, those mountains are turned white again pretty quick. Anyway, I did say that I was going to crack this open and get on with the review. So anyway, let's twist off the cap. There's some nice smoke there. And I'll give it a pour into this Spiegelau Pilsner glass. One of my favourite glasses. Okay, so giving it a relatively gentle pour. Okay. Alright, so there we go. So let's make an assessment of the appearance, as we always do. Well, the appearance is a very clear, straw yellow colour, with a decent amount of carbonation there. I would probably call it moderately carbonated. And yeah, the heads dissipated there pretty quickly. I think when I poured it, there was about, bang on one finger of bright white head. Anyway, on to the aroma. Well, what I'm picking up is quite faint, but there's a definite presence of barley malt there, and your rice and corn adjuncts, of course. So it definitely has that typical American adjunct lager smell, which I find quite pleasant, actually. Alright, so on to the most important part of the review, the taste test. So to you, the audience, all the best for 2014. Cheers to you all. Alright, well, up front, I'm definitely, getting those, sweet malts there. Very pleasant tasting. The taste, really does follow the nose. It finishes very dry. The bitterness is very minimal, only there for balancing. But, it's certainly one of those lagers that's very crisp, clean, and refreshing. Yeah, it's definitely one of those, folks. I hate to sound like a broken record when I say that, but it definitely has all those characteristics. Anyway, time for another gulp. Well, it's certainly holding that taste profile. It's, of course, very light-bodied, but surprisingly, it's, not watery at all. It doesn't have a kind of soda water or mineral water taste to it like, the Bud Light that I reviewed did. That was a couple of years ago now, as a matter of fact. But, yeah, I didn't like that very much. But this is superb. Like, for a light beer, I mean, this is really something else. I'm really impressed. What would I say in terms of its drinkability? Well, at 4.2% ABV, it's very drinkable, and it's, of course, one that you could session. And, it's going to go down a treat, on a hot summer's day like today. I mean, it's going to be a huge hit at, any party or barbecue, let's face it. And I think the people of Australia will be pleasantly surprised by this beer. It's pretty damn good. So, yeah, check it out if you can get your hands on it. And, yeah, it should be pretty easy to do that because, yeah, there's a lot of first choice liquor outlets in Australia. Although I can think of a few areas where there's not. But anyway, hopefully, yeah, we will see it, at Dan Murphy's and other, liquor outlets as well in time. It's gonna, obviously need to, go into an even wider distribution if it's gonna, like, stay around and make a bit of a dent, in the Aussie market, that's for sure. Anyway, I think it's time I wrapped this up. So I'll have one last gulp and give it a score out of 10. Alright, well, all in all, it's a very crisp, refreshing lager. And particularly, being, a light lager, it's pretty flavourful, I mean, for its style, of course. So what would I give it in terms of a score out of 10? Well, it's, it's pretty impressive, so I think it's deserving of an 8 out of 10. I think that's a pretty good score, because, it's not exactly mind-blowing, but it's certainly, a very, good, staple, everyday beer. I'm intending on buying a couple more cases of this, in a few days. So there you go, folks. Anyway, thanks for joining me once again, and I should be back soon for another review. So, until then, fare thee well, all.